Everybody, we are so excited to welcome you to this year's Red Ribbon Week Virtual Summit. My name is Zoe. I'm a second-year teen ambassador and a junior at Edgewood High School. I'm going to be one of your presenters today, and I'm going to be joined by 4 other incredible presenters. Let's go ahead and meet them now.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I'm a second-year TA and a junior at St. Joseph Academy, and I'm so thrilled to be here today. Next, to introduce himself is Kalea.
Hi, I'm Kalea. I'm 16 years old and a junior at Pioneer Tech in Greenville, Texas. I am a second-year teen ambassador, so I'm excited to see how the year goes and to give you all this information today. Now, here's Joy.
Hey guys, my name is Joy. I'm a second-year teen ambassador, and like Kalea, I'm also a junior at PTAA. Have y'all met Jaden?
Hey y'all, it's Jaden. I'm a third-year teen ambassador and a junior at Dival High School. My fellow presenters and I are thrilled to be here today and are looking forward to the rest of the summit. And now that you've met all of us, we could start by introducing the Texas School Safety Center at Texas State University, an official level research center dedicated to creating healthier schools and communities. It is also the home of the Say What program. Say What is a statewide youth tobacco prevention movement made up of teen ambassadors, consultants, and hundreds of youth groups across the state of Texas. Say What is an acronym which stands for Students, Adults, and Youth Working Hard Against Tobacco. We've been working hard to create a tobacco-free society since 2011, when the movement was branded Say What.
That's right, Jaden. And a big part of the Say What program is the Teen Ambassadors. We are a group of high schoolers from all over the state who serve as the youth voice on tobacco prevention for Texas. Each of us is dedicated to informing adults and youth about the manipulation and misinformation surrounding tobacco and nicotine products. But most importantly, we are a resource for all of you to help you on your advocacy journey. Now that you know about Say What and the Teen Ambassadors, we want to invite y'all to stay connected with us and keep up to date on all things Say What. You can do this by following us at TX Say What on all these social media platforms. Now that you can connect with us, I think it's time to introduce this year's Red Ribbon Week theme. Be kind to your mind, be tobacco-free. For this summit, we are going to be talking all about how tobacco and nicotine products affect your brain and emotions. I know I'm excited to get into these topics, so here is Ryan to give you a brief overview on everything we will be discussing today.
Yes, Zoe, we have a ton to get into. First, we're going to show you how the tobacco industry designs and market their products to appear safe. Then, we'll talk about the effect nicotine has on our mental health. We'll show you if there's a difference between vaping THC or nicotine, and some other common misconceptions about vapes and tobacco products. We'll then end off by telling you how you can help a friend quit vaping and encourage your school to be vape-free. We're going to go ahead and introduce our first topic with a quick video.
Yesterday, the government released a new report on smoking and health, which said that there is overwhelming evidence that cigarette smoking causes lung cancer and is a major factor in heart disease. The tobacco industry says that there is no conclusive evidence that smoking causes cancer or heart disease.
By the mid-1970s, the tobacco industry understood very well the importance of reassuring the public that using their products was safe. With the first Surgeon General's report on smoking in 1964, the public became well informed that cigarettes were incredibly dangerous, so they needed to find a way to alleviate the health concerns that had been published. One of the earliest claims made by the tobacco industry was that smoking cigarettes was good for you. It was in the 1920s and 1930s that cigarette companies would advertise their products as a cure for everything from asthma to constipation. They claimed that smoking could calm your nerves, aid digestion, and even help you lose weight. These claims were not only false, but they were also dangerous.
Tomorrow, the United States Surgeon General will issue a new report on smoking.
As more research came out linking smoking to cancer and other diseases, the industry could no longer deny the health risks associated with their products. So they just repackaged them and called them safer. But does safer really mean safe? The first approach at creating safer cigarettes was the addition of a filter in the 1950s. The filter was supposed to reduce harm by filtering the amount of nicotine and toxins a person would inhale, but it didn't work. Some filter designs actually introduced new toxins like asbestos, carbon, and glass. And the act of adding a filter actually encouraged smokers to smoke more. Thus began the trend of giving people a false sense of security. Then, in the 1960s and 1970s, the industry started marketing light or low-tar cigarettes as being less harmful and easier to quit. But in reality, they were just as dangerous. Just like filtered cigarettes, smokers who switched to low-tar cigarettes would actually smoke more, but with light or low-tar cigarettes, smokers would inhale deeper, which meant they were exposing themselves to higher levels of toxic chemicals. In Philip Morris's own research, they actually admit that smoking their Marlboro Lights didn't achieve any reduction in smoke intake. Another tobacco product the industry created to be safer is snus, which is a type of smokeless tobacco. The industry has suggested that snus may be less harmful than chewing tobacco because it's processed differently and contains fewer carcinogens. Snus comes in a pouch, while chewing tobacco is loose leaf. Even though snus is processed differently, it still contains harmful chemicals, like tobacco-specific nitrosamines, which increases the risk of cancer. In fact, studies have shown that regular use of snus can cause oral, pancreatic, and other types of cancer, as well as increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. In 2013, we start seeing this new product hit the market with a lot of advertising, telling us it's completely safe to use, free of tobacco, and helps people quit smoking cigarettes. The e-cigarette. Over the years, the tobacco industry's claimed they don't cause lung damage, they don't contain harmful chemicals, and that the aerosol is only water vapor. We know this isn't true. There's at least 64 toxic chemicals and metals found inside e-juice that not only causes severe lung damage, but damage to other organs, including the brain. Research also shows that some of the same chemicals found inside vapes are also found in the aerosol. So the industry's claim that it's only water vapor is completely false. The device itself is actually pretty dangerous too. Vapes contain lithium-ion batteries to power the device, which heats up to 400 degrees, so it's caused some e-cigarettes to explode. Over the years, we've seen the concentration levels of nicotine skyrocket without any regulation from the FDA. Popular vaping devices today now have 5,000 puffs or more, which is the equivalent of 400 cigarettes or more. These devices are clearly not a safe alternative to cigarettes. As more research has come out about the dangers of e-cigarettes and these devices not being a safer alternative, the industry's been relaunching an old product that never really seemed to gain popularity. Heat not burn.
Heat not burn products heat tobacco at far lower temperatures instead of burning it. There's no smoke, fire, or ash.
These products were designed to be heated with mechanisms similar to e-cigarettes, versus being lit like traditional cigarettes. They've been called Premier, Eclipse, Accord, and so many other names, but today it's known as IQOS. In the 80s and 90s, this product never gained popularity because research showed various brands still delivered lung and cancer-causing toxins to the user. And some brands delivered higher doses of these toxins compared to regular cigarettes. Today, Philip Morris claims IQOS is less harmful than traditional cigarettes, but again, their own research does not support this claim. Now, the trend is tobacco-free. The claim being that these types of products are healthy because they don't contain tobacco or risks associated with using tobacco. While these products may not contain tobacco leaves, they do contain nicotine, which is derived from the tobacco plant and is the addictive ingredient in all tobacco products. They also contain flavorings and fillers. Since these products are still new, health risks, besides addiction, are still unknown, but based on the industry's track record, we should assume they won't be safe. Evidence shows the industry has tried to hide their own research that proves their safer products are not safe. With the launch of every safer product, the industry gains more and more victims along the way. It's clear the tobacco industry's definition of safer is just an illusion, and their bottom line is, and always will be, their profit.
As you can see in the video, for years, the tobacco industry had lied to us about their products being safe and good for you. Whether it's traditional cigarettes or vapes, you can see the industry doesn't care about us. So you have to be on the lookout for yourself and be nicotine-free. Let's take a deeper look into Big Tobacco's deceptive tactics and how they tricked us into using their products through the years. Back then, they used cartoon characters, bright colors, and flavor marketing specifically to target kids. They have also sponsored sports and events, paid celebrities to endorse their products, and just straight up lied in their advertising. And we still see a lot of these tactics used to this day, with deceptive designs and false advertising stating that tobacco is good for your mental health. They have also added greenwashing into their list of tactics, which Joy will tell you about later on. Now that we know about some of their tactics, let's take a closer look at the impact of their false advertising, deceptive designs, and how they deceive the public.
The tobacco industry deceives the public using false advertising, especially marketing their products as helpful towards your mental health. This can lead people to believe that their products release stress or help with anxiety. This is far from the truth. In actuality, tobacco products amplify feelings of stress, anxiety, and depression. One way Big Tobacco has historically spread this misinformation has been through advertisements. This can be seen then through an example like this Lucky Strike poster. Using lies like I bring relief to anxiety, tobacco companies try to make the public believe their products are helpful, when they actually contain the highly addictive substance of nicotine that can cause serious health effects and amplify feelings of anxiety.
While that was then, let's take a look at what they do now. Big Tobacco continues to spread lies and misinformation, but with the rise of social media, tobacco companies have begun to utilize it as a tool against us. Knowing so much of the youth use social media like Instagram or TikTok, they've begun to use sponsorships from various accounts in order to market their products as self-care or safe. While this is far from the truth, it still promotes vaping as a solution for many problems to the youth. This is especially important as it's been reported that stress, anxiety, and depression are some of the main factors that lead to youth vaping. However, one of the main components in most e-cigarettes is a chemical known as nicotine. Nicotine is found in most vapes and is incredibly dangerous due to the fact that it changes your brain. When nicotine is inhaled, it travels from your lungs to your blood and from your blood to your brain. Once it gets to your brain, it enters something called the reward pathway, which is an area in your brain that makes you feel good when you do something you like. Nicotine traveling through this pathway causes your body to release a chemical known as dopamine, which is a natural chemical that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. As more and more nicotine enters the pathway, the more dopamine is released. And the more dopamine that is released, the more the body's baseline is altered. By this, I mean that the amount of dopamine needed to make a person feel good has significantly increased, meaning that things that once made someone feel good no longer do, as they do not trigger enough dopamine. And the only thing that will trigger enough dopamine release is nicotine. When the nicotine is taken away, the user experiences feelings of stress, anxiety, and depression, the likes of which can only be counteracted by more nicotine, creating a vicious cycle of addiction. Because of this, e-cigarette users are twice more likely to be diagnosed with depression than those who don't vape. But nicotine isn't the only danger. There are also some trace amounts of metals found in e-cigarettes, including lead, arsenic, and aluminum, all of which have been known to have negative health impacts, specifically lead and aluminum, which affect the peripheral nervous system, a pathway that connects the brain and the spinal cord to the rest of the body, and the central nervous system, which is the body's processing center. Tin and aluminum's effect on these two pathways is another reason for increased depression in e-cigarette users. So now that we know that vapes are not an option, what are some healthy alternatives that you can use when you're feeling stressed or anxious? While you're thinking about it, here's some recommendations from RTAs.
I cope with stress by doing things that relax me, like reading a book.
I deal with stress and anxiety by listening to music.
Whenever I feel stressed, I sit down and play my piano.
I love to play old records.
I like to surround myself with happy people.
I like to work out.
I like to go skateboarding with my friends.
When I need to relieve stress, I like to dance.
I like watching comfort shows.
I like to pick up a pen and pencil and draw.
I deal with stress by allowing myself to feel my emotions.
I like to be productive.
When I get stressed, I paint my nails.
If I'm stressed, then I'm on my phone or taking a nap.
So, you've learned how nicotine affects our mental health and how all of the teen ambassadors cope with stress without turning to nicotine. But nicotine is not the only thing being vaped. THC is another dangerous form of vaping. Here to tell you more about it is Kalea.
THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, is the main psychoactive compound in cannabis. It is responsible for producing a high sensation. It's found in the leaves of the marijuana plant, and there's been a lot of debate about whether or not vaping it is okay. Several years ago, the FDA started approving medical marijuana for a variety of health issues. THC's role in medicine has caused people to believe it's safer to vape than nicotine, but that is not the case. In fact, vaping THC oil can harm the lungs and has been associated with serious lung injuries and death. This product can also increase your heart rate and risk for respiratory failure. Youth who vape THC are more likely to be irritable, have difficulty learning and concentrating, and experience symptoms of ADHD. Additionally, they are more likely to suffer from severe mental health issues like panic attacks, schizophrenia, and thoughts of suicide. I mentioned earlier that THC vapes aren't much safer than nicotine. Hey Jaden, how do these products actually compare?
Well, Kalea, I'm glad you asked. There really is a misconception that vaping THC is safer than vaping nicotine. Being a high school student myself, I've heard all kinds of misconceptions flying around. Youth seem to think vaping THC and vaping nicotine is safer than traditionally smoking these products, but this is, in fact, a lie. When someone vapes cannabis or nicotine, they're inhaling small metals, particles, and harmful fumes. So let's take a look at some facts. THC can cause impaired brain function and development, heart health, and even your mental health. There's a newer health effect that has been discovered and is called EVALI. This stands for e-cigarette or vaping use associated lung injury. Whenever someone vapes THC or nicotine, they're at a greater risk for damaging their respiratory system. So, looking at the packaging on THC products and nicotine vapes, you can see there are lots of similarities. They have the same appealing packaging, fruity flavors, and even the shapes of the products. Most of the youth don't see a difference between these products due to their close resemblance. This is a huge issue because youth who are vaping might be vaping marijuana and not even know it. Again, in the end, it is important to remember that it doesn't matter if someone vapes nicotine or THC, it's going to harm them.
The tobacco industry wants you to think that their product is safe, but they also want you to think their product is cool. But how do they do that? Well, it's all in the design. This includes attractive and colorful packaging and flavors to create a false sense of safety, especially among youth, while downplaying the health risks associated with their products. Another strategy the tobacco industry uses is to portray themselves as the good guys. The tobacco industry volunteers in the community, then posts on social media to make it seem like they care about the health of others and our environment. One tactic they use is greenwashing. Greenwashing is essentially fake environmental marketing. One example is Sprite's change of design from green bottles to clear. Coca-Cola says it's to help the circular economy, but when you see a landfill, all you see is green and clear bottles amongst the trash. When you think of a green soda, you think of Sprite. And you know Coca-Cola really doesn't care about the environment at all. In the tobacco industry, certain companies such as Green Smart Living engage in tree donations and similar initiatives. However, they face criticism for using charity work as a diversion, hiding their environmental harm caused by their products. This raises the question, are they using their charity work to hide the harm they do? It's important that we look for environmental effects of their product to show the world the truth of what Big Tobacco is doing. And because of tactics like deceptive designs, lying to the public that their products are safe, and greenwashing, there are a lot of misconceptions about new products. Let's take a look at a few common misconceptions out there. A common misconception is that tobacco-free nicotine is a healthier option than nicotine, when they are really both bad for you. The only difference is tobacco-free nicotine is made in a lab. Another misconception that Zyn is a cessation device. Users think that because they are chewing the product and not smoking it, the Zyn pouches are not harmful and a good way to quit. In reality, Zyn pouches have been introduced as a way to get the addictive nicotine delivered to the user in an easier and more convenient way.
Another common misconception is that essential oil pens are safe because they don't have nicotine or THC in them. Just because they don't contain an addictive ingredient doesn't mean they're safe. Essential oil pens heat up to about 150 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. When that happens, they turn into volatile organic compounds, which when inhaled can cause serious damage to the lungs, mouth, teeth, and more. Its side effects include coughing, aggravations of asthma, and itching and swelling of the throat. There hasn't been much research done on these products, but from what we do know so far, we can conclude that these are not safe. You might not know this, but nicotine is as addictive as alcohol, cocaine, and heroin, so quitting can be really hard, but not impossible. We've shared so many eye-opening facts with you today that you might have a friend wondering how to quit vaping. It can be hard when you have a friend who's trying to quit, but you don't know how to help them. So, Jaden's going to help break down how to support and assist a friend.
One of the most important things to helping a friend is respect. Everyone has a slightly different idea of what respect means, but in this case, respecting someone quitting is a tad bit different. The user quitting is the one in charge of their journey. So as a friend or resource, respect their process and try not to nag or preach to them. If they truly want your help, they will come to you because they know the respect you have for them. Always be supportive. Don't bother them about the time duration of their process, and don't make them think they're less of a person because they're using a certain product. Your friend will always have self-doubts during their quitting journey, so you can always reassure them about how strong, responsible, and self-aware they are during their process. You can also show support just by simply asking, "How are you feeling?" or "Is everything okay?" cravings can happen all the time and at any point in the day, and they're the strongest during the first few weeks after quitting. So offering distractions is really helpful. The good thing is, most cravings will pass within a few minutes. As a supportive friend, you can help by getting the user's mind off of vaping. If you're at school and a craving happens, maybe tell a funny joke or remind your friend of their accomplishments so far in quitting. If you're not at school, offer to go do something physically active like skating or taking a walk. Maybe even suggest going to the movies instead of staying at home where there's plenty of time to pick up their vape device. Being patient is one of the many traits everyone needs to exercise to be prepared for anything. With that, helping people quit an addictive habit can require lots of patience. Quitting is really hard, and your friend will most likely slip up and use it again. So, as a friend, you want to do your absolute best by staying calm, cool, and collected to be a helpful resource and not judgmental. You always want to have a positive and encouraging attitude towards your friend. So, I just mentioned your friend might slip up. In stressful times, your friend might want to pick up the device to relieve that stress. Or your friend may experience a trigger and they can't stop thinking about their vape. It is important to reassure them that it's okay and everything will be okay. Don't let them get discouraged about having a hiccup, and make sure that they know you're there for them. Now that we've covered what to do if a friend or family member is struggling with their vape, I want you to know that there is hope for you too if you're struggling with vaping. This resource from the Truth Initiative and MD Anderson Cancer Center is free, confidential support that is available 24/7, and no one, not even your parents or teachers, will know, unless you choose to tell them. So, if you can, take out your phones, take a picture of this, and share it with your friends, or even save it for later.
You might be wondering, what's next? What am I supposed to do with the information I learned? Well, here are a few ways you can put what you've learned to use.
If you liked what you learned today during today's summit, and you want to learn more, you can go to the Say What website and participate in our online training modules. Trust me, they're super easy to use and filled with so much valuable information. And then we tackle a variety of interesting topics. For example, the history of tobacco prevention in Texas covers the in-depth history timeline on the important events in tobacco prevention. Our Escape the Vape training module highlights the dirty tricks, flavors, and packaging, and also shows how to be a resource for someone to quit. Lastly, Don't Wait, Advocate helps expand your advocacy knowledge and skills through the 3 important levels of effective advocacy. It can also help you find your favorite advocacy topic.
You know what, Jaden? Those modules are great. With all that information, you're going to want to get out and share it with people. A great way to do that is to join the Say What movement. This will provide you and your group with resources to host events in your school and community, so you can get out the message to everyone you know.
Our presentation covered a lot of important information about marketing tactics, health risks, vaping nicotine and THC, greenwashing, and how to support someone who's quitting. Remember that knowledge is power. Being informed can help you make healthier choices for yourself and help those around you. Be sure to follow us, use our hashtags, and help us advocate. We've had such a great time today, and I hope you did too. Be kind to your mind, be tobacco free, and with that, goodbye everyone.